Hey everyone, so today I went and I did my blood work. I had to do a urine test, blood test and a cardio test. And I know where that place is. It's right near my old MP's office, Marco Mendocino, but I walked right past it. I guess with COVID and being at home for so long, I was going down the other way and then I pulled out the paper and I'm like, where is this place? And I had to walk back up. But what's happening to me is happening to a lot of people. Like you'll find it's episodic. You can remember things, but then you forget things. And part of that is isolation from having worked at home. And I remember I told Dr. Ng, he said, you took the vaccines, didn't you? I said, yes, I sent you the emails. And he looked it up. He said, oh, yes, I remember. And he said, were you happy about it? I said, no, I was not happy about it. But basically, we were told by the company, by Teleperformance, to go and get the vaccines. And if we didn't want to get them, we couldn't work. And then after that, they moved us home, but they said they didn't know if they were going to take us back to the office. So we had to get the second one. And after that, I stopped. But, you know, a lot of people, Dr. Ng told me, a lot of people just refused. They said, if you want to fire us, fire us. We're not taking your vaccine. But anyway, I guess with me, you know, because I've had so much unemployment and everything else, I took it because I didn't want to lose my job. The same way when there was a problem with one of the clients, and it wasn't my fault. The customer was rude to me and obnoxious, and they called the client and told them to take me off the campaign. And the managers fought for me and fought for me. The client refused to listen. So then they said, okay, there's a campaign, you'll be finishing by 11. I said, okay, I'll take that. Then they came back to me and said, no, there's nothing. You either have to work overnight or we'll have to let you go. I was like, this is so unfair. I told you guys when I joined, I had a harassment case, that I'm not keeping well, that I have anxiety. And they're like, no, but you didn't provide anything. I said, I don't have to provide you with anything. This is a legal matter. It's something that went to the police. And they're like, no, we can't. So then eventually I had to get my doctor to write a doctor's letter of support, give it to them saying that I require a day shift and it has to be 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, but 2 days consecutive off. Even after that, with that, they put me on a shift that's ending late. Oh, we don't have the hours available, we don't have what you need. So I said, no, this time I'm not doing it because my ID wasn't working, I couldn't log on. I went in, I did my share, I did the training, I did everything that I had to do, and they couldn't get the login to work. So this time I wrote an email, a formal email, and I said, this is what has been agreed to. You've agreed to keep me on the books and to pay me while I'm looking for something else. I provided all the letters saying when I'm going for my appointments, all my tests, everything my doctor needs me to do. And I sent it to them. And I said, I want a day shift. If there's absolutely nothing else, then I will take it, but I have to finish relatively early. Because it's not fair to me. I mean, women were dealing with this in the 60s and the 70s, where women were told if they didn't tie their fallopian tubes, they couldn't work in companies, or they couldn't hold jobs. And today, even with all the legal protections in place, this is what they do. I mean, it's ridiculous. Today I did that training on the duty to accommodate with episodic disabilities, because now, thanks to our liberal government, people are using marijuana. So some people are not getting legal prescriptions from their doctors. They are self-medicating. And so we have to have reasonable accommodation for that. Then you have people like me, because of what we've been put through in the workplace, that have developed anxiety. And I'm not the only one. There are lots of other women that have recorded videos about how they've gone into depression, they've gone into anxiety. I had a supervisor, he was an agent with me. He said to them, you have to take me off the phones. I can't handle it. My eyes are hurting. My ears are hurting. So they made him a supervisor. And then he left there and he got a job somewhere else. But I mean, it's ridiculous. Before we used to have 2 minutes between our calls. And then they made it 1 minute, then they made it 30 seconds. And you're getting up to 200 calls a day. I said, no, that's too much pressure for me. Then they said, okay, we'll give you 1 chat at a time. Then when they moved me to the new campaign, they said, no, you have to do it. You have to do 3 chats. If you can't do the job, we're letting you go. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I explained to you people what my situation is. Because when you have episodic health problems, you can land up like your memory of things may not be in a straight timeline. So when I went through that harassment case, my aunt was saying to me, your timeline is off. I said to her, you know what? I don't remember everything exactly as it happened because I've been under a lot of pressure, Auntie Delise, and you should understand that. And she's like, no, but I want to play devil's advocate. I said, I don't need anyone to play devil's advocate. I have enough devil's advocate in my life. And today I got the confirmation because we had legal experts there, we had case law, and I feel better now because they said, you know what, when you have something traumatic like this happen, we had a case about a woman that was sexually assaulted by one of her managers. The timeline wasn't right, but the police understood and they gave her leeway. They did not force anything on her. Then we had another case law that we discussed that took place in Ontario, and it was about legal protections. So at least now I have the knowledge, I have up-to-date knowledge, and I feel better about the decisions I made, because I knew they were right, but I was not in that realm of the medical care and the healthcare profession. And now that I've qualified as an aromatherapist, I have that as well. So I'm just waiting now. I mean, they have to find me something else because I didn't do anything wrong. Even when the clients were accusing me of doing things wrong and this and that, any normal person, if you yell and scream at them, they're going to raise their voice back to you. It's not normal to treat us like children and say, oh, you have to pacify them, you have to understand they're frustrated, you have to be available to just let them take it out on you, let them vent. There's a difference between venting and swearing at someone and yelling at them and using F words on them, calling us bitches, all this kind of thing. And I'm not the only one that goes through it. And there's people that just came into this country and they're getting all the promotions, they're getting all the accolades, they're getting all the Employee of the Month. I also had that on the last campaign, and I did a good job for them. So they have a responsibility, not only to accommodate me, but to find me something else. And the clients don't want their names mentioned on social media now. That's fine. Whatever we did in the past, we did to help them. Whether it was good or bad, they should have taken that feedback on board and used it to help their companies. They didn't see it that way. Companies are losing millions because they're not doing things the right way, because they don't care. They only care about making the billions. Who makes that money for you? We do. It's us. It's the workers that make that money. And this stupid Great Reset, I hope they're happy. Because now all the billionaires are also losing money and they're also landing up being poor. We can't afford properties, we can't afford the basics, we can't afford to do anything. Before, when my appointments were done for my blood work, my doctor's office used to do the ECG in the office. Used to do the pap test, the urine test, all of that in the office. I only had to go out for the mammogram. Now you have to go out. You have to go to a testing center and get it done. And you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know them. I get very uncomfortable when there's a man touching me. Even if I'm fully clothed, I don't like it. I prefer to have a woman there and a woman dealing with me. And that's how I am. I mean, the guy was very nice today, but whatever. But things have changed. They used to, even when they started outsourcing it, they used to book the appointment, call me, say this is what when your appointment is, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to take with you. They don't do it anymore. They give you the paper and they say, you go, this is it, you book your appointment. So everything's changed in Canada. It's not you don't get that caring support anymore. Not only from the employers, but even in the healthcare. We had a case today that was discussed about a nurse. She was harassed by one of the doctors. The doctor liked her and she didn't like him. She kept saying no, she kept saying no. They went into the surgery room together and he killed her. He killed her in the surgery room. And she had told people that she didn't like him, she wasn't interested in him. People reported it, she reported it. Nothing was done to stop him. So, I mean, we should not be losing lives. We should not be losing, whether it's a man or a woman, we should not be losing lives. People should not fear going into work and getting raped. That's why, and even if I didn't have this episodic anxiety that comes on, I would still prefer a day shift as a woman. I would still prefer to go in at 8 or 9 and come home during the day, especially with what's happening now in Canada, with all the stuff that's going on. I don't like it. There are people who are more than happy to work overnight, to work late shifts because they've got families or they want to spend time with their kids during the day, or they just prefer it. I'm not one of those people, and I've made it clear all along. In the past 5 years, I've made it clear to Teleperformance. But whatever they've given me, I've taken it and I've done it. It's because I don't have a choice. It's not like I'm not qualified. It's not like I wasn't a good executive assistant. It wasn't like I wasn't professional or polite or I didn't know how to do things. Sometimes I make spelling mistakes now. Before, my English was perfect. I never made a spelling mistake. Now I do things, I have to go back and read it to check it after COVID. That's why now I'm trying to do more reading, whether it's John Maxwell or a fiction book or something, to get my English back up. Because if you're sitting at home, working by yourself the whole day, you're not interacting with anyone, you're just reading policies and procedures, you're not really doing anything. It's affected a lot of people, not just me. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. I mean, things have changed, things have improved a lot. At least now they're not firing people for coming back late from their breaks. But they used to mark us missing in action. I said, I'm not missing in action. I went to the washroom and I came back late. I had an upset tummy. So, I mean, the things we have to push for today are just ridiculous. And the more they bring in all this Islamic funding and all that, the worse it's going to get. And I'm saying it openly, because they can say that, oh, Dubai is a successful economy. You know, it's not. It's built on slave labor and it's a plastic society. And look at what's happening in Nigeria. They're targeting the Christians. And it's a false ideology. What are they doing? Destroying all the countries. For what? To get money. And then what are they going to do with that money? Eat it. Me personally, I've had enough. I speak up. I've always spoken up. I'm not just doing it for me. I've got nieces coming up after me. What about their futures? If you hate me and you don't like me and you think I need psychiatric assessment or whatever, think about the next generation. Think about how bad things are going to get for them. Children are shooting in the Netherlands. We had a shooting here downtown. People can't even go to nightclubs anymore and enjoy themselves. I mean, it's ridiculous. And all these thousands of blacks that are coming into Europe, by the thousands. What did they actually fight for independence for? So they can leave Africa and now come to Europe and destroy Europe. I mean, I've had enough of it. And if people hate me for speaking up for Christians and Catholics and pushing for my faith, please go right ahead. I have no time for it. Nothing.